Hi there, my name is Hella. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. It's the end of February 2022, and this is my review of the 9010 Medbed. So I really wanted to make the most of this amazing opportunity. So I spent quite a bit of time preparing for it. It actually took me 5 days to write and rewrite again my affirmations. So I ended up with 6 pages, and they were neatly divided into body, emotions, habits, and soul mission. As a disclaimer, I did grow up understanding about the kind of energy body, the chakra systems, the aura, the notions of reincarnation. And I've done a lot of work on myself, both physically and energetically over the last 3.5 decades. I was getting into Tachyon and Orgone in the last few months, but this quantum energy just feels on another level yet. And I really enjoyed the fact that you could play with the energy. So wanting to make the most of it, I did wait until the weekend. And on the day, I waited until 5 p.m. to be awake and to be able to really play with the energy. So I laid down, activated the medbed, and asked it to scan, heal, and rejuvenate each cell in my body, just to start with. Initially, I didn't feel a lot. I then went through the different body systems and focused on areas of concern, always with positive statements, so never mentioning any afflictions. Could feel a little bit of tingling in certain areas that I'd asked the energy to work on. Now, being awake, I enjoy being able to work with my body to see how I might be able to amplify and get to experience the energy more. And I felt that when I put the soles of my feet together, I could feel the energy much more strongly. So that was a really nice revelation. One of the areas that I felt shift and move the most during that session was the layer between my brain and my skull. It was kind of gurgling, and there was quite a bit of movement. So that was really interesting. I had an infection there many years ago that has kind of caused me issues. So that was really amazing to feel that part shifting. So I was mainly working on physical aspects in that first part. But then I suddenly felt the urge to ask the energy to clean my auric field. So it was good to not just kind of mechanically go through the questions that I had written down, but really feel what the energy was doing and how my body was responding and what it might need. Now, during that first session, I went in and out of sleep, which is surprising because I don't normally sleep during that time of the day. But I guess it's not so surprising because it was working on so many different aspects. So that was a nice experience. I did find that gently moving and stretching in bed kind of helped my body reset. So my hip reset, which was a really great relief because I'd been pre-migrainal for the couple of days beforehand, and I wasn't able to reset my hip. But during that session, my hip reset, which was fantastic. Now, the thing that I felt increased the effectiveness of the affirmations was to ask for anything in the way of my affirmation, all reasons and origins to be deleted across all space, times, dimensions, and realities. Because obviously we don't understand where our limitations come from, but the energy might be able to kind of travel to different spaces and delete anything in the way of what we're asking for. Now, I've been drinking a lot of water, especially on that day. So I needed to get up. And I also felt the urge to move, to spin and reset my auric field, and to stretch my body and meridians. So after a break of half an hour, I jumped back into bed. I'd had 2 bottles of water during that half hour. I reactivated the med bed, and this time I didn't fall asleep. I was tingling all over, so I could really feel the energy, and I worked through the rest of my pages. Now, the part of my body that felt most intensely targeted during that session was my solar plexus. While again, I hadn't talked about any issues directly related to it, and always formulated positive affirmations and in the present, as Oliver had suggested in one of the introductory videos, the solar plexus wasn't surprising. It was very, very intense. But also what was happening concurrently was that my hands had become like really, really intensely light emitting. So I could feel these, it was quite sci-fi. I could feel these kind of columns of light coming out of my hands, out of my palms. And so I played with that energy and was able to soften that very intensity of the energy in the solar plexus. Now, I probably could have asked the med bed to kind of tone it down a bit, but I really wanted to kind of push it to the max. So it was nice to be able to soften the energy with my own devices. Now, when I got up after the second part, I found that I'd also done a 1.5 hour session, which was surprising. I don't have a clock in my bedroom. So that must have been a really good kind of time span for me to work. I had something to eat and some warm food, warm liquid. I was really, really buzzing, but I felt really, really tired. It was a super hot night. There was mosquitoes buzzing. I was buzzing, but my body was just really, really exhausted from the amount of stuff that I'd worked through. And going back to bed and activating the med bed, I could not sleep. I played with the energies a little bit more, but my whole body started to ache. So I decided to go and have a shower. I hadn't wanted to miss any kind of time that I could have with the med bed, but it was a really good thing to do. So I could kind of wash off all of the stuff that had been worked through. My body relaxed and I was able to go back to bed, reactivate the med bed, and I fell asleep and slept really, really well. I woke up the next morning feeling buzzing, but my body felt really, really exhausted. So I was really excited, but my body was really, really tired. And I was glad to have the Sunday to take it easy and integrate. What I did do is I jumped online and I ordered some of the 9010 frequencies and the power capsules straight away because I was so impressed with the energy and I really wanted to start experimenting more. Now, the first few days I felt buzzy, but I felt flat. So my body was still trying to kind of integrate things. And luckily I was able to take that time and kind of take it easy. It also had been a string of 30-something degree days. So that could have had a little bit to do with it also. Now, it felt like my digestion really shifted, which it was good before and it was good after, but there was some kind of marked difference that I felt. The one thing that really shifted was that my spine seems much better aligned and stronger. So I've got these really heavy windows where I'm living here that I have to kind of push up. They're huge and it's always been a struggle when my back would hurt. But that is no longer the case. I'm able to kind of push those up quite easily with no pain in my back. The one thing that I was really surprised by, which was very unusual for me, is that my period came probably 12 to 2 weeks early, 12 days to 2 weeks early. Very, very unusual. So it's kind of switched over to a new moon period for me. And it was very, very different. It was easy. It was very fresh. So my whole system felt like it had a really good clean out before the actual period came. And yeah, it was just so markedly different. I was really, really surprised. Habits seem a little bit harder to shift. So that probably needs a bit more work. And the other thing is that I have suffered from migraines for the last 3 decades. I did find that I kind of fell into this pre-migrainal tension again after the period, which not much gets done. That doesn't absolutely have to get done. And I did have a migraine, but it was not quite as severe as it has been in the past in terms of symptoms and being sick with it. Also, the extent of time was much less, so that was fantastic. Okay, so I hope that some part of that video was helpful, and if you do get to experience it, whether you perceive the energy or not, that you have a great experience. It's an incredible technology. You can obviously take it more leisurely than what I did. My work was mandated, which has really made me question my direction even more vehemently. I've been feeling a real sense of urgency these last few months to raise my frequency, my intuition, my psychic and healing abilities. So yeah, I've been really keen to possibly explore how this energy might work in combination with body work. So it's come at a perfect time for me. It's amazing technology. Thank you so much for this initial opportunity. All right. Thank you. Namaste.